Hi, everybody. It's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty Group, and welcome to this week's Pick 5. Now, the first thing you'll notice, and I notice, we have a different camera. Technical difficulties. So it's like you can see more of my office, which is terrible because it's jam-packed with weird stuff. And I didn't really clean up for you guys, to be perfectly honest. Okay, maybe Veronica will zoom in. So, guys, it's the end of October. Do you know what that means? Yes, for the child in every adult watching this right now, it's going to be Halloween soon. Now, my kids actually prefer handing out candy than going and collecting it, probably because, well, they're rational and logical, and they see all the candy we're giving out, and they're like, but there's 300 pieces there. Well, I'm going to go door to door to get one piece at a time. For fun! Now, let me think. What did we do for Halloween last year? Oh, yeah, I think we were Top Gun. I was Top Gun, excuse me, which I'll be again this year. That was before the movie, by the way, okay? I've been wearing the Top Gun shirt for like 15 years. I had that flight suit. It was awesome. I think Maya was a princess. And the boy, let me get a shot of the boy. He was whatever that thing is. I don't know, the lizard turtle or something. Now, the year before, I believe we were the cast of Frozen. I think Maya was still a princess. She's probably doing that this year. Now, 2020, pandemic. 2019, Maya did not want to dress up, and she went out in her coat. Oh, my God, she was so cute. She was 3 years old back then. Anyway, so, yes, we are the family that dresses up for Halloween. We're not the family that dresses up for Christmas. We're not the family that dresses up for Christmas. But yeah, speaking of which, hey, guess who bought their first Christmas present? Okay, now I'm not going to show you a photo of what my office looks like right now. Yeah, that's it. That's a lot of He-Man. That's a lot of He-Man. But you know, look, okay, it's like we're going to be there soon, like less than 2 months. Not only that, I'm going to show you a video clip. The boy really likes He-Man. Here's a shot of Duke having memorized every single He-Man that they remade from 2021 to 2023.
Man at arms. We don't have many faces. We don't have. We have Sheila. We don't have this guy. We have Stratos.
Mm-hmm.
We have Clawful. We have Zodak. We have Roboto. We have Buzz-Off. We have Jitsu.
Yeah. What should we do about the ones we don't have?
We have Cranchamp.
Yeah. But Dookie, should we get the
We
ones?
have Battle He-Man.
Should we get the ones we don't have?
Yes.
How soon?
And we have Battle on the Scale.
Yeah, he literally memorized all of the He-Men. There's a collector's edition book. And for those that don't know, the toys we played with in the early 80s, they remade. And that's what all that crap on my couch was. So, right, back to real estate. On the weekend, Tara and I went to see some prospective sellers who are living in a condo with ridiculous fees. These fees are over $1.40 a square foot. Now, history lesson here, okay? I'm 43. History lesson here. My very first condo, let's put this on the screen, please, okay? And this is like, people aren't going to want to hear this, especially when it comes to price. I'll never forget my fees were $299.97, okay? And that was 585 square feet. I'm typing this in, as you can see. Okay, that was 51.3 cents per square foot. That included, let's put this up there, heat, hydro, and water. That also included my parking space and my locker. So for those that don't know, if you have a condo and your fees are $500 and you own the same condo one level up and you have a parking space, your fees will be $560. They charge you a maintenance for your parking space and for your locker. So mine were 52 cents, 51.3 cents, all in. I didn't pay for water, heat and hydro, right? That's gas and electricity. I don't know why they do that in MLS. But that was all in. Now, as prices have risen, I won't even tell you what I paid for the condo in '05. As prices have risen, so too have maintenance fees. Now, we know that there's inflation out there, and we know that services cost more. We know that, gas costs more. But once upon a time, bear with me here, guys, before we get into the properties. Once upon a time, I used to say this. Under 50 cents per square foot for maintenance fees, absolutely unbelievable, okay? 50 to 60 cents per square foot, excellent. 60 to 70 cents per square foot, good. 70 to 80 cents per square foot, getting high. 80 to 90 cents, high. 90 cents to $1, extremely high, and then $1 per square foot plus, I hope we can fit this all on the screen, reserved for very few buildings in the city, ridiculously high, unsustainably high. Now times have changed, and I want to show you something here, guys. We're going to pick on this building. This is 50 Lombard Street. Now, once upon a time, this building was the one that people would go, oh my God, those fees are ridiculous. Now let's circle this, Veronica, or highlight it, 951, and we're 750 square feet. So 951 divided by 750 is $1.27 a square foot. But that's in 2023. Credit to this building. When I used to say, oh my God, the Indigo at 50 Lombard, the fees are so high, they were like $1.20 a square when everything else was 60 cents a square. So now that everything's gone from 60 cents a square to $1 a square, this building has kept their fees low. Let's show you something else. The fees were $1,017 per square foot, right? Now the fees are $951. They brought the fees down. You know, that can happen, right? And this is a conversation Tara and I had on the weekend with somebody who's on the board in the building where they have the very high fees. And we said, you know, there's an inverse relationship between high fees and value. And if you got $5 million in the reserve fund, scale the fees back. Very few ever do. So with that said, guys, today I want to look at condos with high maintenance fees. We're going to look on a per square foot basis, and I'm going to do them in order. So here we're going to see they're all downtown. And let me zoom out here. Okay, I'm going to do them in order. Now, I'm not picking on any particular building. I'll admit I spent maybe a bit over an hour looking for buildings. I'm sure we could find ones that have higher fees. These are a random selection of buildings that have high fees per square foot. Now, one thing, we're going to get another ordered list up here. Can't even believe we haven't started yet. We are going to look at, is heat included? Is hydro included? Is water included? Does the unit have a parking space? And we will look at the price per square foot in all of these buildings. So first things first, we're going to look at 15 Beverly Street. Now, what really gets me about some of these buildings, guys, is that they're not all old. And you would expect old buildings to have high fees, or you would expect the buildings with high fees to be old. 15 Beverly is from 2016. And it is a 11-story and 11-story, 96-unit building. Now, the fun part, guys, I'm going to start with the fun part. I'm going to S-talk a lot of these. This says $700 to $799 for square footage. Let's do this, because it's interesting to see how a condo can grow. This unit's having trouble selling like oh so many units out there. And as we wait for the listing history to load, I will show you the previous listing. The fees were still $7 to $799. The previous listing, $6 to $699. That's so odd. How can a unit grow? Well, this unit is actually 643 square feet. Can we put that, please, Veronica, superimpose 643, 643 square feet per builder plan. For whatever reason, they're calling this 700, probably because they're trying to make it look better. Now, here we see $751.76 are the fees. This is, wait for it, $1.17 per square foot. Now, there is no parking space here. We're going to look at some that have parking, and you're going to see just how high those fees are. Now, it does include water, it does include heat, and it does include central air. But because it says it includes taxes, which it absolutely does not, I would say you need to verify whether or not it actually does include the utilities. Now, today, do we even need to see the units? We're talking about high maintenance fees. I like this building. I like this location. It's just north of Queen Street, where I'm going to be tomorrow. Well, actually today, when you guys watch this Thursday, going on CTV Morning, not confirmed yet, so if I don't go, it'll look ridiculous, to talk about the new $36 billion plan that Olivia Chow has announced, which is kind of cool because it's $36 billion of someone else's money. The city's literally bankrupt, and look, kudos for trying, but $36 billion, and then the footnote is like, from the government in Ontario. Okay, so here, this is the kitchen, which is actually a hallway, and maybe you can see why this thing's not moving. So, again, look, I like the building. Okay, don't love that pillar. Like the building. It's not my fave kitchen, right? But there's got to be a reason why these things aren't moving. And it's at $599 now. So the fees are just really tough to stomach. And you've got an inset bedroom, right? 643 square feet, but how much of the square footage was eaten up by that front hallway? Show's nice, right? But again, let's go to that listing history, and hopefully it'll load a bit quicker this time, because I want to show you what high fees can do to the desirability of a unit that's up for sale. Because this is listed now, guys, at $599.9. Okay, so check this out. They paid $641,500 in 2019. They tried it in May for $649,900 with an offer date. Didn't work. Increased the price to $699,900 in June. Then $679,000. Now they're at $599,000. And let's go and look at the listing here. Okay. It says 3% commission, offers anytime, 24 hours. Is it really available for $599,000? Because there's a lot of trickery out there right now, and we will come back to another one. I'm not saying this is or isn't. There's a lot of trickery out there when it comes to some of these units, and I'm going to show you that later. But for starters, we are $1.17 a foot. Let's move on to the next one. We're not doing them in order, remember? We're doing next 30 Hayden, unit 1101. Okay, so 30 Hayden is a building from the year 2000. Note to self, watch 2001 A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick, which I think is from the 60s, and see how accurate those predictions became. Did Hal take over the world? So 2000 is when this was built. And it is, for those that don't know, Hayden is one block south of Bloor. I didn't show the address of the last one, but I did say it was off Queen. So here you can see Hayden Street, right? And there's a couple of buildings on Hayden Street, right? It's pretty decent location, like proximity to infrastructure, proximity to retail, proximity to, of course, the TTC. Now this is 595 square feet, and the fees are $711.26. Do the math, $1.19 per square foot. Now, it includes water, heat, and hydro. It also includes parking. So believe it or not, this, with parking, is effectively less per square foot than the unit that I just showed you, because again, we've got to look at the parking. Now, we're $659,900, and we're, again, right, $595 per square, 595 square feet. So it's completely renovated, but I would say, and it's virtually staged, that looks absolutely terrible. But I would say they're still a bit high on the price, right? On a per square foot basis, it's high. This looks like I'm looking into, I don't know, 2001 A Space Odyssey. And now we got, oh God, the photos. Oh, geez, look at this. Oh my God. You start with the unit and now you're outside. We're still on the street. Oh my God, who took these photos? What? We're 9 photos in. That's the lobby. We're not even in the unit yet. Another shot of the lobby, right? And now the front door. Holy moly, 12 photos in, right? Thank you. Now we're back into the unit. So again, what I would say is that yes, there's a nice reno, but 595 square feet, I'm going too fast here, but who cares? We've seen enough of this. They're at $659,900 divided by 595. They're asking $1,109 a square foot, which is probably what this is worth regularly, but think about those maintenance fees, right? So now let's look at the listing history again. And I'm not trying to say that all buildings with high fees don't sell well. Okay, this is the first time this has been listed, so it really doesn't owe them anything, but I have to think that's a bit high on a per square foot basis, right? $659,900. It's a one bed, it's a one bath, 595 square feet. It's in a kind of nondescript building, you know, like, again, good location, but those fees, $1.19 a square, $1.19 a square, that's heavy, man. So one last thing, we'll look at the floor plan here just to say we did. I like the layout, not a lot of wasted space, right? You've got a full wall, essentially, of window. I would love it if this had one here, right? Kitchen, as we saw, and fully renovated. There's no wall here. Open concept, dining, and we'll call that living. Bedroom, access to the bath, semi-ensuite, and the balcony, right? Snug, $595. My first condo was $585. Just, man, those fees, right? Okay, so let's take a look at the next one here, guys, which is 215 Queen Street West. Now, this is called the Smart House. I love what the agent wrote here. You got to have them, right? You got to try. It doesn't take a genius to recognize this amazing deal at Smart House, right? Right? Okay, so few things with this one we'll come back to, but first we're going to look as we do at fees. This is $775.43, and it is 606 square feet, which is $1.28 per square foot. Now, here's the rub, guys. This building's from 2019. So back in the day, here's how it worked, okay? You go to buy in pre-construction, and the developer says fees will be 38 cents a square, which is total BS, but that's how pre-construction sold, right? And you're like, oh, wow, 38 cents a square, that's crazy. Now, when you take over, you know, there's a turnover meeting between the developer, the board of directors, and the residents, and I believe, I don't know if it's anymore, but I believe back when I was banging in the day on condo boards, what that means, anything in the first year that's over the budget the developer has to pay for. But what you would see in years 2, 3, and 4, once the condo board has taken over, they're like, the cupboard's pretty bare, fees would skyrocket. So yeah, you can't run a condo in 38 cents a square. That was always what the developer would say in pre-construction. So usually you'd expect the fees to go up in the first couple of years. Guys, this building is from 2019. Why are the fees $1.28 per square foot? Now, I said there's some funny stuff about how these things are being sold. This says right here, offers, if any, to be reviewed Monday, October 16th at 7:30. I'm filming this today on the 25th. Y'all are watching on the 26th. Why is this not being updated? Now let's take a look at the listing history, because this isn't just for this Pick 5 or buildings with high fees. This is everywhere in the city right now. Really have no idea what people are thinking in terms of pricing, in terms of listing. Okay, this thing was only previously listed for lease. So bad example, I'm sorry. I was thinking of a different unit, but I'm going to come back to another one where you'll see that effectively they've got a listing up for a price they're not going to take, and it's just sitting there, and it's bizarre. It's like there's no offer date, but then it says preemptive offers. I'll show you that in a minute. So again, I like the building, guys. I like the layout. I like the finishes, and I like this location. Virtually staged. Hello. I will never virtually stage. I did it once at a $10,000 a month lease. I was like, all right. I mean, you're paying me, so I might as well spend some money on, marketing. Didn't mind. But you're not staging that place for lease, right? Now, for sale, I stage every property. I would never list a property without staging it. And again, you can see right downtown, right? Very, very good address. But man, those fees. Just cannot believe that. $1.28. So part of the conversation today is, what would this unit cost if the fees weren't so high? And you've got to consider that, because as I said, there's an inverse relationship between maintenance fees and the price. And so it's to say, like, let's say the fees for a given unit were $300. Let's say they were $600 instead. You would pay less for the condo because it's less desirable and it's going to cost more. So if the unit was $500,000 with $300 fees, the fees were $600, you might only want to spend $450 on the unit. So I think that a lot of boards jack up the fees instead of issuing special assessments. I think you should absolutely issue a special assessment. The problem is that people don't like writing checks. And I hate these balconies. See this? This counts in your square footage. What are you going to put down there? This is the kind of thing they do in design to make it look cool in a scale model. And when people drive by, they go, oh, that's neat. But then you've got this red glass and this stupid triangle. Think about 224 King, where it has those stripes going across. And you're like, oh, that's neat, until you're living in the unit and you can't see out your glass because there are giant stripes. So there's a second bedroom. Barely fits a bed, right? Let's get out of these because I'm getting tired of the photos. $775, guys, right? So imagine, even if this thing was $650 or whatever it's going to sell for, the cost is one thing, but imagine being the person paying $775. Again, my first fees were $299, but of course my first condo was $277. Next one, we're flying through these now. I'm going to let that go to voicemail. We're flying through these now. We're going to go to 17 Dundonald, Unit 408. So this is another really, really confusing one to me, guys, because this building, I believe, is almost brand new. It's called Totem Condo, which I would have thought would be canceled by now, unless there's another meaning of the world that I don't know. By the way, I'm not that politically correct, just everything's being canceled. I don't really care. So this is essentially a new building, might be a year old, 2 years old. Direct access to the Wellesley subway station, which is great if you need to save 9 seconds in the morning. True story, first time I took the subway, my dad took me to get a Nintendo, which is really cool, 1986. I'm really dating myself. And I was fascinated by the fact that it ran underneath the Eaton Center. Now, I don't actually know if it does, or if we just got off and we're in the Eaton Center. I'm sorry, guys, I don't take the subway, but I could not believe it. We went from the subway car into the Eaton Center to like Simpsons to buy a Nintendo. It was amazing. You can read more about this. What's my expression? You can read about this and more in my new book, Boring Things David Says. So again, Dundonald. I don't know how old this thing is. Its claim to fame is that it has direct access to the TTC. It is, of course, let me just go to the map here, guys. You're going to assume it's right on Yonge Street, right? Okay, direct access. Okay, I believe there's that station right here, if I'm not mistaken. And this one, oh, this is the one. Going to come back to that. Or do you want to start with that? Okay, 509-900. You ready for this shiznit, as Snoop Dogg would say? 509-900. But, as MLS loads, they were listed for $749,500. Okay, so you're not asking for $509,900, right? That has to be, oh, maybe there's an offer date. Here's the best part. Ready, guys? Come on now. You couldn't have timed that better. I said, ready, guys, here's the best part, and then the lights went out. Yeah, no, we're really concerned about the environment here, so we just randomly shut the lights off. Okay, let's try that again. Are you ready for the best part? It's this. Offers anytime. Offers anytime. Now, when you have offers anytime, it's usually like, we're priced at market value. Check this out. And please blur out the contact address. Thanks. Seller are open to reviewing any strong preemptive offers. So you have no offer date, but you're allowing offers before the offer date. A preemptive offer or a bully offer is an offer that comes in before the offer date. Offers any time, ergo no offer date. Would you like to submit an offer date before the offer date for a property with no offer date? Did you hear all that? I wasn't just saying offer date. This is so stupid. I'm offended as a real estate agent. I'm embarrassed to be a real estate agent. But also, yeah, the fees are super high. These fees, guys, this unit is, I don't have the square footage. We can work backwards. 810.91. Okay, 810.91 are the fees, and it's $1.30 a square, which means the unit is 623 square feet. I think it was 624. So I just didn't write it down in my notes. Sorry. So $1.30 per square foot. Now, this does have parking. We know that costs. And here it says that heat is included, but it says nothing about water and hydro. I hate this listing. I hate everything about it. Welcome to the market in the fall. Again, just to reiterate, you don't say whether or not water and hydro is included. You have an offer date, but you don't have an offer date, but you have preemptive offers. And you're now, circle this, 26 days on the market at $509,900, which is a price you're not going to take. And I have to think that's false advertising. So there it is. And this building's brand new. Why are the fees so high? It makes no sense. $810 a month to live in 600 square feet, right? And it probably doesn't include utilities. Okay, last one here, guys, is a slightly older building. This is 85 Bloor. Now, I did not, sorry, my phone's blowing up. Oh, might have an offer coming in. My phone's blowing up right now, guys. So this, guys, is a 615 square foot unit. Now, again, check out the fees here, $813.65. So if we think about the last one, right, 625 square feet, the fees were $810. This is marginally more expensive because the last one's $1.30 a square. This is, drum roll, it looked ridiculous. Looked like swimming dog paddle. That's what I used to do when I was a kid and never learned the full arm bubbles and breathing, as we called it, which is what you guys call swimming. $1.32 a square. Drum roll and dog paddle. $1.32 a square. Now I'm thinking about swimming when I was a child. It has parking. It says that water, heat, and hydro are all included. I trust this one because it's a very good real estate agent, right? So this building is from 2005. And again, it's not that old, right? It's not the 70s, the 80s, but it's almost like those fees in those buildings have pretty much peaked. It's the stuff like this that I don't understand, right? It's the stuff like this that just doesn't make sense. It's the stuff like this. This is a brand new building, and you're $1.30 a square. So, oops, where were we here? There we are. So, again, like pretty standard kind of unit, right? It's on Bloor. It's not a sexy building. Doesn't get a lot of love. I've never put a buyer in here. I've shown in here before, but this is about as typical a square plan as you get. I said 615 square, my first place 585, right? Walk-in closet, pocket kitchen, right? Older ones have cabinets up here, which we don't love. Then you've got your living dining, right? So a lot of people, it's dining here, living out here. I had a walk out to a terrace on my first place, but this is the most basic square plan you're going to get. And then you've got the bedroom, right? This might be a little solarium or something. But yeah, it's a good floor plan, right? And again, this is a great starter condo. It's just like, yeah, the fees, man. So that is the plus one over here. And yeah, okay, so mine was 585, so shrink everything a bit. And then, yeah, this is basically my first kitchen. Can we put a picture of my first kitchen? Okay, that's from my listing. I'll see if I can find that. That was my first kitchen in 2005. Renovated a bit. I think I sold it in 2009, something like that. Okay, so yeah, great starter condo, guys. It's just the fees, right? Have we seen enough of this? We need to see the bedroom. Bum, bum, bum. I see someone in the mirror. Maybe it was the tenant. System of a Down. I couldn't name one song. Wait, is that the song that goes, wake up, da-da-da, keys up on the table? You know that one? No, you think I'm crazy? Fine. Some of you know that one. Oh, Green Day is coming in 2024. I am way too old for that. I cannot imagine. You know what? Maybe like Private Box. Find somebody I know that wants to do that and be like, hey, why don't you sponsor us? No, I don't know. What about 15 guys in like Private Box? That's the way to do it. Okay, so not the building, right? This is the view. You're like, oh, that's beautiful. No, that's actually, and see this is what I mean about design, off topic here. Not that the Green Day was on topic, but like they want to make it look cool. So you have all these stupid tiny little balconies here. And I don't understand. I guess I do understand it's marketing, it's sales, but like you're bastardizing the functionality for the look. Oh my God. That's how the entire world works, right? So there you go. So go back, one final look at it, guys. $813.65. We were $1.32 a square at 615 square feet. Great starter condo. Let's look at the listing history. I just can't imagine paying that much per month in fees. So they were $685, and now they're $650. It looks to me like they leased it out a bunch. Check out like pandemic, $2,400 not happening. We rent for $1,900. I remember those days. I remember. And the tough part for landlords, I know no one has any sympathy for landlords, but like you're renting for $2,200 and then your tenant's like, it's a pandemic, I can't afford it. You're like, okay, you know what? Let's just do $1,900 until we get back on our feet. And then you can never get $2,200 again because then they're like, well, I'm paying $1,900 and you're only allowed to raise the rent by 1.3%. You're like, yeah, but you were paying 22. We're not. Oh, there's no. Okay, yeah, fuck me. I'm a landlord. Sorry. You know what? Bleep that out, Veronica. Yeah, look, there's a lot of really bad landlords out there, and there's a lot of really bad tenants, but there are real problems with the system we have set up. And I'll tell you this story probably on the blog at some point, but we sold a unit with a tenant, refused to leave, lost the buyer, not getting thrown out. LTB will not tell the tenant to leave. My guy basically is going to keep this unit for as long as the tenant's there. He's bleeding money every month. The public sector has basically shifted the burden onto the private sector. But again, Olivia Chow, $36 billion. That's the news. Wow. So guys, let's go back here and run down our list, okay? We had $1.17 a square at 15 Beverly Street. We had $1.19 a square at 30 Hayden. We had $1.28 a square at 215 Queen. We had $1.30 square at 17 Dundonald. And we finished with $1.32 a square at 85 Bloor. Now, there are some buildings. My wife's grandparents live in a building where it is literally white glove service. They bring your car. They're 96 and 92, right? They bring your car around. They bring your groceries up. They'll do anything. And yes, you pay for that. And their fees are probably, I don't know, $2 a square. I actually don't know. Maybe they're only $1.60 a square. 1,800 square foot condo, 2,400. I don't know, maybe they're $1.50 a square. But again, more to the point, why is a building that's 3 years old got fees that are $1.30 a square? It doesn't make sense. And far be it for me to say, if I had a buyer and they were looking at a unit like this with high fees, I would say, if you buy this to get a discount today, remember that you'll have a hard time selling it tomorrow. That is it for me for this week, guys. I'm actually going to go wrap some of those Christmas gifts because I'm excited. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.